There exists a practice that invites a man to turn his awareness inward. Semen retention is often misunderstood as merely abstaining from ejaculation. But in its deeper sense, it is far more than physical restraint. It is a journey inward, a path of self-discovery, discipline, awareness, and transformation. When a man begins the practice of semen retention, he is not simply holding back a biological function. He is stepping into a process that forces him to confront himself, his habits, his impulses, his desires, and his mind. In many ways, semen retention is less about semen and more about consciousness. For many men, the journey begins when they notice a pattern in their lives. Excessive indulgence in pleasure, especially through pornography and frequent ejaculation, often leaves them feeling drained, distracted, and disconnected from their deeper purpose. The moment of realization can be powerful. A man may wake up one day and ask himself, "Where's my energy going?" He notices that after moments of indulgence, his motivation declines. His mind becomes foggy. His focus weakens. Tasks that require effort feel heavier. Gradually, he begins to see that what seemed like harmless pleasure might actually be costing him something valuable. That realization marks the beginning of the inward journey. One of the first things semen retention reveals is the restless nature of the mind. The modern environment bombards men with images, temptations, and instant gratification. When a man stops giving in to these impulses, the mind reacts. Thoughts become louder. Desires become stronger. Urges arise unexpectedly. This stage can feel uncomfortable because it removes the easy escape that many people rely on. Without the usual outlet, a man must sit with his thoughts and feelings. Instead of suppressing them through momentary pleasure, he becomes aware of them. But this awareness is precisely where transformation begins. By observing his impulses instead of immediately acting on them, a man develops a deeper relationship with himself. He learns that urges rise and fall like waves. They are powerful, but they are temporary. Through this process, he begins to understand that he is not controlled by his impulses. He can witness them without surrendering to them. Many practitioners of semen retention speak about increased energy. While some explanations are biological and others spiritual, the experience is often the same. A sense of vitality that was previously scattered becomes more concentrated. When energy is not constantly discharged through frequent ejaculation, many men report feeling more driven, alert, and motivated. But the deeper change is not simply physical, it is psychological. Because the mind is no longer numbed by constant stimulation, awareness becomes sharper. A man becomes more present in daily life. Conversations feel more engaging. Goals become clearer. Actions become more intentional. Instead of drifting through life on autopilot, he begins to move with purpose. Semen retention cannot exist without discipline. The practice demands consistency and self-control in a culture that encourages the opposite. This discipline, however, does not remain confined to one area of life. It spreads. When a man learns to control one of his strongest biological urges, other forms of discipline start to develop naturally. He becomes more capable of maintaining routines, pursuing long-term goals, and resisting distractions. The inward journey, therefore, strengthens the will. Every day that a man keeps his commitment, he reinforces a message to himself. I am capable of mastering my impulses. This quiet confidence gradually reshapes his identity. Another aspect of the inward journey is emotional awareness. Many people use sexual stimulation as a way to escape uncomfortable feelings such as loneliness, boredom, anxiety, or stress. When that escape is removed, those emotions can surface more clearly. At first, this may feel difficult. A man may realize that what he previously thought was desire was sometimes simply a response to stress or emptiness. But facing these emotions honestly is an important step toward maturity. Instead of masking discomfort with temporary pleasure, he learns to address the root causes. He might begin journaling, exercising, meditating, or pursuing meaningful work. These healthier outlets allow emotional energy to move and transform rather than remain trapped. Over time, the man becomes more emotionally stable and resilient. As distractions lose their grip, Many practitioners of semen retention find themselves thinking more deeply about their purpose. Questions arise. What do I truly want from life? What kind of man do I want to become? What am I building? Because energy and attention are no longer constantly diverted, the mind has space to reflect on these questions. For some, this leads to renewed dedication to their careers. For others, it inspires creativity, entrepreneurship, spiritual exploration, or service to others. The inward journey, therefore, often becomes a path toward outward achievement. Throughout history, many spiritual traditions have spoken about conserving sexual energy. In Taoist philosophy, yogic teachings, and certain monastic traditions, sexual energy is considered a powerful life force. While interpretations differ, the common idea is that this energy can be redirected toward higher levels of awareness. During semen retention, some men report feeling a stronger connection to meditation, prayer, or contemplation. Their minds become quieter, and moments of clarity appear more frequently. This does not mean that semen retention automatically produces spiritual enlightenment. However, by reducing constant sensory stimulation, it creates conditions that make introspection easier. Silence becomes more accessible, and in silence, deeper insights often emerge. The journey inward is not without obstacles. Temptation remains present, especially in a world where explicit content is easily accessible through phones and the internet. There will be days when urges feel overwhelming. There may be moments of relapse, but setbacks do not invalidate the journey. They are part of the learning process. Each challenge teaches something about triggers, habits, and emotional patterns. Over time, a man becomes more aware of what strengthens his discipline and what weakens it. Gradually, he develops strategies to protect his focus, limiting exposure to certain content, maintaining healthy routines, and surrounding himself with positive influences. Through these adjustments, the path becomes clearer. An interesting transformation often occurs in relationships during semen retention. Because the mind is less dominated by constant sexual stimulation, interactions with others can become more authentic. Conversations may feel deeper. Eye contact becomes more natural. Presence becomes stronger. Women, in particular, are often perceived differently, not merely as objects of desire, but as complex individuals. This shift can lead to healthier dynamics built on respect and genuine connection rather than superficial attraction. One of the most frequently reported outcomes of semen retention is increased confidence. This confidence does not usually come from external validation. Instead, it grows from self-respect. A man who maintains control over his impulses begins to trust himself more. He knows that he can make difficult choices and follow through with them. This trust changes how he carries himself in the world. His posture, speech, and decision-making reflect a deeper sense of stability. Confidence built on discipline tends to be quieter, but far more durable than confidence built on fleeting achievements. Despite its benefits, semen retention should not be approached with rigidity or obsession. Like any practice, balance is essential. The goal is not to suppress sexuality or view it as something shameful. Sexual energy is a natural and powerful part of human life. Instead, the aim is awareness and conscious choice. A man practicing semen retention learns to direct his energy intentionally rather than being controlled by impulse. When approached with wisdom and balance, the practice becomes empowering rather than restrictive. The most profound changes in semen retention rarely happen overnight. They unfold gradually. Weeks of discipline build mental resilience. Months of practice strengthen habits and clarity. Over time, the inward journey reshapes the man from within. He becomes more focused, more aware, and more connected to his purpose. The transformation may not always be visible from the outside, but internally the shift can be profound. Ultimately, semen retention is not about counting days or proving superiority. It is about understanding oneself. It is about learning how desire operates within the mind, how energy flows through the body, and how attention shapes reality. Through this understanding, a man gains greater freedom. He is no longer a prisoner of constant stimulation or impulsive behavior. Instead, he becomes the architect of his actions and priorities. This is why semen retention can truly be described as a journey inward. It leads a man into the depths of his own mind, where he confronts his weaknesses, discovers his strengths, and gradually refines his character. In the modern age, where instant gratification is available at every moment, the decision to practice semen retention is a radical act of self-awareness. It asks a man to pause, observe his impulses, and redirect his energy toward growth. Along the way, he encounters discipline, emotional honesty, clarity of purpose, and sometimes even spiritual insight. The path is not always easy. There are challenges, temptations, and moments of doubt. Yet, every step inward brings a deeper understanding of the self. And through that understanding, transformation becomes possible. Semen retention, at its core, is not merely about holding something back. It is about discovering what lies within. It is a journey inward. And for many men, it becomes the beginning of a more conscious and purposeful life. Join the Retain to Thrive Telegram channel at the link below, where we focus on building discipline, overcoming distractions, and achieving goals. Join the supportive community, sharing tips, motivation, and accountability. Let's grow together, one step at a time. Subscribe to this YouTube channel and share the video.